Hi everybody, this is the first time we ever done this. This is for the Shoham 2024 Film Festival. My name is Eric Ramos, and I have my co-host
I'm here.
Amir
Raj
Raj
Porker.
Parker here with me,
Yeah.
and today we have a special guest. This is the first time we've done this. This is the winner of the 2024 Best Feature for Shoham Film Festival, and this is Micheal Garsin. Thank you for coming to our
Thank you.
video, our
Thank
interview,
you.
and yeah, we're gonna have a good time here and have ask you about your films.
What's wrong? Baby,
Nothing.
baby.
The mess, Ariella.
I tidied.
Look, you've been living here for 3 months now, okay? It's not a holiday. When I go away from a business trip and I come back, it stresses me out when there's mess everywhere. We spoke about it. And you didn't say thank you for your flowers either.
I'm sorry. I love them. Thank you. Thank you.
The first question I have for you is, how do you start your film making? Because I looked at the things you've done in IMDb. How did your filmmaking journey start?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of a messy start, really. I didn't think I would be a filmmaker when I was growing up. Like I love movies. I love Star Wars. I love Lord of the Rings, but I never really even like thought about making films. I didn't even, kind of consider that idea that they were broken down into parts. I just really enjoyed the stories and really enjoyed them. But I wasn't a movie geek at all as a kid. But I always wanted to be an actor when I was young. I really found my place on the stage. I was very shy as a child. Like I remember my mum would have drive me to a bar mitzvah and I'd be like crying and stuff. Like I was so shy, like I was like crippling, like I couldn't do it. And then kind of like found the stage. I know it's quite cliche, but really a place where I could like express myself as a small child. And then from then on, I always just wanted to be an actor, and then also a musician, and I wanted to be like a musical theatre actor. But I kind of lost my passion with that when I was in university. Very much like fell out of love with acting, and I was in. There's a competition at university where you could write a play, and they gave you the theatre as like a professional practitioner, so it's outside the drama society. And I thought I always loved writing as well, and so I wrote something like very personal to me at the time, and I won that competition, which I'm still surprised about now, which is like many years later. Must be
Nice.
16, about 14 years ago, so I still can't quite believe it. And then yeah, the university gave me a very small budget and gave me the theatre for 2 nights, and it was just a really life-changing experience to direct instead of act, and you could just really control the different pieces, and you could really like get into the really heart of the characters. And I did like all this lighting and stuff for it. I had like 120 cues or something. That the staff technicians really hated me, got really angry at me. And then I thought, oh, I'd really love to be a director, like a writer director. And then I did another play about a guy who was like filming his own life. And then in that play, I also had like a projector here, like in the back, and it was showing parts of his life. So I started filming that. And then I really enjoyed filming. I thought, wow, this is amazing. And I was given a video camera for my birthday, my 21st birthday, which I lost in Israel. Actually, I took it on my first trip to Israel, and I got the best footage ever, like the most crazy characters. And then I lost it in Sfat, of all places, a holy city. Can you believe it? But, yeah. And I just started like filming and editing things, and I really found that was really enjoyable and real art form. And then that led me into like wanting to be a filmmaker, and just then I started becoming quite obsessed with films. I thought, oh, I should like break them down and watch them, and became a real like bit of a film geek and nerded out on films. And yeah, kind of all came together with Ariella, which I wrote 10 years ago. I had the idea like 10 years ago, and then it's just taken me on this mad journey 10 years to make it. So yeah, from making this trailer, we made this trailer in 2020. Well, not 2020, 2015. I think we made a trailer, like a fake trailer. I was actually going to be in the film as well, so that's when I was still trying to combine like acting and directing. And then from that trailer actually is when I was able to really like like blag my way into some film work. Like I kind of did some videos for this big rapper in England called Big Nasty. He's like a gangster grime rapper here. That kind of got me through the door with that. And then I did like a lot of music videos. I was kind of did a few things in like the grime scene, which was really interesting. And then years and years later, nothing was really happening with Ariella, so I decided to make it as a short film, and it was evolved into a short film. It's a short film. I think that was about 5 years ago. And then from then, I really learned a lot. Like I really, really learned a lot because we did it for like 10 grand, and it really pissed me off. It really, really pissed me off because we spent 10 grand on 2 days, and I was there like I could fucking make this entire film for only a little bit more than this. Like really, I was like I don't need to like be dealing with big crews and all this kind of stuff, and it just was so stressful for me that I wanted to make a film in the same way that I did my music videos. Basically, I was like I don't want. It was too bad. It was too stressful. It was too expensive. So I kind of burnt the script again and rewrote it, but really contained it around what we were doing. Like doing it in cars, as you saw a lot of in cars, in like people's houses, in like running on the streets, and that led me to write the final draft and raise the money, and then here we are. I think here we are now today. So that was somewhat higgledy-piggledy version of my film career. At the same time, I've also been working on film sets as well. Like I came in as a runner, and then a few years ago, I kind of broke through the door in post-production. So I've been working like a post-production coordinator, post-production manager, and then visual effects as well, which has seen me able to work with Amazon and Disney and Netflix and some really cool companies.
Nice.
So that's been useful as well. It's useful also to help you to know how much money is just wasted as well, like how bloated these kind of things are, which gave me a bit more confidence that I could like make an entire feature film for the same as like one visual effects shot, which I'm very proud that I was able to do. So
Yes.
It's interesting because of all the questions, what you said was follow-up questions.
Oh, brilliant! I see you soon then. Right? Nice one. I see you. All right.
No, but like it was, that actually brings me to it. You had met because we were going to ask you what lessons you learned from the short film.
Yeah.
So one, you already said that one of the what lessons is that you could basically how much money you can save or how much you actually can make the film for. So So my other question is, when you went on the film, when you the actual film, what changes do you make to account for that? For example, like in terms of scheduling, in terms of finding locations, double up locations. I think you had mentioned that you had to use cars and cheap shots, and that also goes into the stylistic choice you made for the film, right? Because I noticed a lot in the more so in the beginning, it was more felt like a docu kind of style in the streets. A lot of shaky cam. I don't know if that was specifically done. I'm guessing it was, but it was a lot of that done to like kind of show like I guess London in a different light. I guess because my take was she was coming to London as a foreigner, and that kind of feeling give almost like a voyeuristic feel. Am I correct?
Yeah. I mean, that's awesome. You said that. Like, I think for me, it was much more practical, and I developed this basically. When I did the short film, I had a DOP and I had a big crew and a big camera, and then that's what inflated the price. And I was out of control, like trying to explain where to put the camera, and we ran out of time, and it drove me mad. Then, luckily, again, just kind of things start to come. I kind of went back from the beginning. I got a phone, like I started working a bit of post-production. I finally could like even afford to buy get a phone contract, and the phones got really good. So I started taking a lot of pictures and myself, and started filming a lot myself. I also did. I've always been like a videographer. Like I came through doing bar mitzvahs and weddings, but I didn't really like it that much, really. Yes. Then I started doing this stuff with the iPhone. I was like, wow, like this is really enjoyable. I'm really able to see where the light is coming from and all that kind of stuff. And then I kept thinking, I can make a film on my phone. Like I'd love to make a film on my phone. I'd love to like be able, and you can move it around. And as you said, it's so voyeuristic. It's so like controllable. You can just like, you just put your hands in these angles, and you really kind of connect with a character. And I think that's what you're saying. Like with Ariella, you can just kind of really connect with her because it's such like the style of the camera is so like dancing with her. Because I did this docu-style. Moving forward, luckily, unlucky, COVID came, and I'd done a lot of work on my company that year, like from post-production and visual effects, but it was through my company, which I set up to make Ariella. And I was offered this loan in England. I don't know if they were available in the US or in in Israel, but they called it a bounce back loan. And what it means is because I worked quite a bit in COVID, and then I couldn't get any work for months, right? So they offered you a loan at a tiny, tiny interest rate if you could prove that you've been earning for a few years. And about the same time, I started watching like Fellini films. I've never really been into those kind of films or anything kind of that smart, really, intellectual. But I noticed what you were saying just now about how the camera kind of properly like follows them around. And I thought, just as a director, I really should get better, like with the camera. Like I should be able to completely frame my own shots. And I was just vibing, almost as if I was listening to music, like vibing to like just literally the way the camera is moving. And so I used this loan, and I thought I'll buy a camera. So I looked at the cheapest kind of good camera, which is a Blackmagic pocket camera. And then it was like, I need a battery and I need a lens. And before I knew it, this whole loan and everything was gone on this personal kit. Then I started taking the camera everywhere. I mean, everywhere. I drove people mad. I take it to everything, birthdays, family, on the streets. I just didn't care. I lived with it. Like, I literally lived and fell asleep there. I filmed myself around the house with different lights. I'd come back from work and I was working in post-production, visual effects. And I'd stay up, I would just start lighting myself and stuff, like stay up all night. And I'd start learning basically cinematography. Then I was like, okay, I'm going to make Ariella. I've got this kit. Like, I'm just going to make it myself. And it was giving me the keys to the kingdoms, really. Then I developed this style where I could just follow people around and really get into their characters. And so the shakiness, I left the shakiness in because it's just a practical thing. I was like, I am going to get fucking close to you. I'm going to sit in the back of a car. I'm going to get there. Yeah, I can tolerate a certain level of shaky. I don't give a crap, really. I'm going to get in there. So that really opened the doors to me, like being my own DOP. I had 2 wicked camera team. Like, I almost used the DOP, and at the last minute, it was inflating again, the price. I need a van. I need a thing. And I was like, do you know what? No, I'm not doing it. I'm going to back myself. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to do it on my camera. And I got instead 2 camera assistants who were just amazing. They did everything. Like, they built the camera for me. And they gave me some shots as well. They came up with some great ideas. They blacked out the windows, did everything. So the 3 of us in the end were just a camera team. And with that small central team, it just completely opened up the film stylistically, as well as like practically. And I like to learn to light spaces. Like, there was this guy on YouTube. I can send you the links to these guys on YouTube. They kind of taught me everything. But his expression was like light spaces, not faces. And that really stuck with me. So I was like, okay, all these lights I had for years from bar mitzvahs. I used to try to go to bar mitzvahs and do a green screen messaging board where they'd be like, hello, Ellie, happy bar mitzvah. It's your grandma. I'm so happy for you. And I would try and put these lights on them and try and do the green screen. So I had all this kit in my dad's attic, and I would just basically throw it in a van and manage to just kind of light these spaces that's really where the camera style came up. I wish I could say, yes, I tried to get into Ariella's character. I wish, but I would be lying ultimately and saying that that for me, I think that if I was to give myself some credit, maybe that happens naturally when I'm actually doing the filming. Like, I kind of feel like I'm connecting with their energy a little bit, and I'm kind of dancing with them. So I think the main point was I learned how to use a camera. I could do it myself. So yeah, sorry for the ramble, but I hope
this actually connects to my other question, which is, but that's cool. This is organic thing. So you were your own DOP. I was trying to figure that out. Film, and so I also know it's another stylistic choice.
Yeah.
The open sign on the brothel.
Yeah.
Mimic the inside of the brothel.
Yeah.
As well, but there's the other thing that was a little confusing me, but maybe you'll explain it. And I think I have an idea of why you did it.
Okay.
But there's the purple and blue, and then there's purple and pink. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
purple and pink.
Purple, pink, red.
And then the green and blue.
Yeah.
So I got the purple and blue. It's like a feminine color.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The purple and pink.
Yeah.
Sensuality. Not necessarily it's a neon light, so it's not the most pleasing of light, but it shows the femininity in it. Mm-hmm. But then you go to a point where there's the green and blue, and I was confused. Is this showing the aggressiveness of the potential other side of that? Mm-hmm. So that's what I got from it. But I would like to know what you were trying to do with that.
Is the green? Do you mean in the actual brothel when you had?
Yeah, there's a couple shots where it's green and blue, and it kind of took me ajar for a second, because for the most part the colors had been the opposite, pink and purple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think again, I wish I was so artistic. Like honestly, your explanation is totally cool. But again, it was a practical thing because we're in the because we had the same a new actress. That's not actually Ariella in those shots. It's the other one. And I was like, come in the same room as Ariella, and I'll change it to green because I don't have the same. It will look like a different room. But I did like green because I thought, whoa, we've gone from all this blue and all this purple, and then you're going to just like have this punch of green, like this absolute like kind of just like whoa kind of punch of green, and it just worked. I think I like to work a lot on my like subconscious kind of like instinct. So like I sit there with a light, I'm like once it hits, I'm kind of like I'm kind of ready for there. I can talk about the purple and green and blue though because I did this big color palette. I was the production designer as well, so I got this color palette website. Again, I try and share the link for you. This was an amazing resource.
Yes,
it was like
please.
£1 a month or something. And what you can do is you can pick your colors and save them. So I had like characters in colors. So I tried to like link these different characters. So Ariella very much like strong use of purple and like pinks and like innocence and blues at the beginning. With Ben, this more red and kind of crossed over the colors. And I felt like the brothel room was when they were kind of like in between each other because you had like Ben's red and her purple that were kind of like blended together. And I wanted to try to somehow convene that idea that she was kind of like in the middle of these two things, that she wasn't kind of quite either way. She was very much caught between these two energies, which was this idea that she's like doing this to get home and like really wants to go home. And there's still an innocence about her and a love about her. I think that's what makes her so popular to the consumer as well. Like she's like so real with them. She's so retaining this kind of sense of her old self. Like they talk to her, they enjoy her, but at the same time, she's like completely being drawn to this kind of red energy that's represented from Ben.
So I did notice in the hallway. That's when I first noticed it. The hallway when after they come back from the party, where the second time where he kind of manipulates her to sleep with somebody.
Yeah.
And I noticed that the first time those colors, and then I saw they're not specifically the same. I think you're right. I think it's red within that, but there's the color, the beginning of that kind of dual color language starting to happen. I don't want to dominate the.
No, thank you.
I don't want to dominate the conversation. I'm going to pass
no,
it.
I really thank you for noticing that because, like, when you're making a movie, as you guys know, like you put a lot of energy into very small detail.
Yes.
That comes across. So, Eric, thank you. I very much appreciate that question. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm more about the characters, and the writing. And first off, I do stutter a little bit, so please be fine with it. Okay, so yeah, so as a writer. Like the hardest thing for me is to write a woman, and you wrote as your main character a female. So I mean, what was it? How was it? How did you feel about it? Did some girl or someone did help you?
Yeah, no, thank you. That's a really interesting question. I kind of saw there are a couple of things like about who the kind of character was, but I kind of felt like Ben and Ariella are a bit like two sides to my extremities of my personality. So I feel like Ariella's all like giving. She gives so much. She gives to the extent where she loses herself. And the last draft of that, I'd been kind of in a relationship where I felt a lot like Ariella, like I was changing and I was kind of, bending my will. So I kind of felt that was there in my soul, like before there's like a gender. And then I kind of just feel like filtering it through all the wonderful women that I've met in my life and have been close to, and kind of like trying to see things from their perspective and trying to be there. Also, like, again, with like I felt like a lot of less about gender, more about power dynamics. So like Ariella, I feel is like on this low down in this power dynamic, like she's trapped in this power dynamic again. So kind of I can like lean on my own experiences on that. And I think that it was really enjoyable. Like I felt like I loved her, because the story began many years ago as a love story between like the character I was going to play and Ariella. So it very much became this like love. Like I loved her. Like it was just some, it was based. There's two things it was based on. One was a Brazilian woman who I like fell head over heels in love with when I was very young, when I was like 21 or something. And also this experience I had when I was on a dating website when I was, again, 22, 23, I don't know, very young, very single. And this was even before apps. So this was like a website. This was old school. This was old school. And it was called, I tell you, I don't care. It's called No Strings Attached Dating. It used to pop up. We've all looked at it. It's like, find someone today. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we will see. Yeah. Okay. So I like signed up as a young man, and I started talking to this beautiful Brazilian woman. Started talking to me, and it was kind of all too good to be true.
Yes.
And then she said that she wanted to like to come on camera and talk to me, and like I thought that was really cool. And then she told me, we started talking, and she said I want you to meet me, which was amazing. So I was like, yeah, but she said I had to pay. I had to pay to come see her. I had to pay to this hostel she was staying at. So I kept saying like, can't you meet me in town? I thought I was in love, you know, like I was like, oh my God, I was in love at the time. So she was like, please come see me, please. And I was like, I don't want to unless you know, why can't you meet me? And she said, come on webcam to me. So she comes on webcam to me. And then she's like crying to me, saying, please, baby, I love you. I want to see you. And then like behind her, like here, this man just appeared behind her. And it was very scary. And I was like, are you okay? Are you trapped? And he kind of looked down into the lens like that and shut the screen.
Really?
And I thought, yeah, that's what started my kind of fascination with who is this person. And then years and years and years of research about human trafficking and about what it is led me to this really horrible story that's called like the lover boy story, which is the most common. I think like a lot of people, I thought human trafficking was a lot to do with just kind of you get kidnapped and taken away, but it was a much more complicated, tragic story where a lot of women are preyed upon, and their character is slowly wear down to the fact where they do this, they say willingly. And I spoke to sex workers, I did a lot of research, and some fascinating things that came up was these stories where, for example, I spoke to someone whose friends used to get taken to like a sauna, like a bathhouse by this guy, and he would pimp her out. And she was like part of the family, this person, this Ariella like person. She would go over to dinner and babysit this guy's kids.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, what? Crazy. And then other crazy things came up, like when these sex workers are sometimes questioned and arrested, they say it's my boyfriend, and they won't testify against them. So I think what fascinated me with the character was this contradiction of, you've got everyone in the authorities saying there's 50% of sex workers are you know, enslaved, and then you've got this complete other opposite saying I'm doing it because I want to and willing. And I found that gap is where her character really was. You know, she was kind of not aware of this or needed to become awakened. And yeah, I mean, some of the things you hear about how many men they're sleeping with a day, it's just they're not sleeping, away from their families. It was just really very moving to me to think of this, and you know, to think of the women in my life, like, you know, my sister especially, who's always been kind of a similar age, and just imagine that kind of, you know, you can see it happening under certain circumstances. I think really into that character, and myself, like I think just because I'm a man, I still feel like I could be a woman. I think spiritually, I believe the soul is much more kind of universal, and you know, you can reach into that side of you. I think I can anyway. I don't know what that says about me. So yeah, there you go. Let's hope that wasn't too long-winded an answer. Yeah.
It was bright and so different.
Do you speak English?
Yes.
You do. I'm Ben.
Ariella.
That's a beautiful name.
So you talk about how the character Ariella is more based on you. How you get certain aspects of it.
Like her soul, yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting because I believe the character's name Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben.
The other
Now,
side.
in the beginning, he starts loving me.
Yeah.
Then he had microaggressions at some point
Yeah.
because he sees certain things. I guess he knows what he has to do, or maybe he's using it. This is where I see it. He's using it to try to build up. Then at certain points he goes back and says, "Oh, my love," and I love you, and very caring. Then he goes back and forth. Towards the end of the film, I started seeing where he becoming more caring. And then it gets revealed, of course, in the film that all these women, pretty much in a brothel, were in a situation as Ariella. I'm correct in getting that. So
almost, yeah. I'm not sure if they were, I left that ambiguous about whether they're all Ben's, but kind of, yeah. Some Ben or someone like Ben, I would say, yeah.
So my question to you is this: does Ben love her any respect?
That's fascinating, isn't it? Yeah, I know. I had some amazing conversation with the actor about this, and I think in the end it's like inconclusive, and I feel like it's more like what is love really, and like what is someone like Ben's like capability in love, because I think he does love her definitely to a certain extent. Whether he loves her like this sounds horrendous, like I love my laptop and I love my my camera and stuff, or like a master to a slave. I don't know. I talked a lot to Ben about. I like to think that he goes into these situations without thinking he's going to go all the way. Like he meets someone, he's kind of like he loses himself in that kind of drama at the beginning. And if things went a different way, every step of the way, maybe things would be different. Maybe if she said, "Fuck you, I'm not going to sleep with him," or whatever, and he kept trying, and she was like, "No, I love you, I'll never do that to you," whatever. I don't know if the story goes a different way. I don't know if Ben keeps her as a mistress or tries a different way. Like I don't really. We tried to leave all these open-ended ideas, but I felt writing it that he loves her, but his sense of duty to his family and his sense of duty to this role that he's being, and his wife who he doesn't really love, who I kind of also saw it in a from through a Jewish lens, that I tried to make his wife seem, she's from the Jewish community. She's very safe. She's kind of part of that world. She's at the Seder night with him. She's there at him with the shiva and everything. And at the same time, got this amazing person in Ariella who probably understands him properly and gives him everything he needs, but he can't kind of break away, not, from who he is in any way. And I spoke to the actor a lot about that. So from my perspective as a writer, I felt like I loved her, but she betrayed me and she didn't do what she was telling me to do. But it's so many levels of lies and deception that he does. So I don't know if it's as simple really as like, yes, it's love her and I love her, but I think he is. If you ask me, I like to think he is from in his own way.
Yeah, because I feel like the whole dynamics of his psychology and the relationship is very not one dimensional. This is why I really like the movie. It's not two dimensional. There's a lot of layers going on, and very ambiguous. And you're trying to figure out this guy. Sometimes he shows like these little things, these little behaviors, and you're like, oh, there's something to it. He's kind of showing her affection, but then you state like how he loves her. He might love her, but not love her in a way that you would love a lover or a wife or a girlfriend. Is more so what she does for him. His means to end, and that's very interesting.
Yeah, thank you. Because I feel like, from his perspective, from their perspective, how much do the boys believe that they're giving these girls a better life as well? Like, how deeply do they really feel like that? I think that's what the actor said to me as well. Or it might have been someone actually who auditioned for Ben, I think, which is, sometimes they come in. He's like, you've got to understand that from his perspective, I'm giving her this life. I'm giving her this amazing opportunity to better herself, to come to this country, to escape what's happening there. and kind of seeing themselves in this heroic light. I wonder if that's what people, how they see it, because I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I always think most people think they're a good person, right? Like, unless maybe they're a psychopath in the world. I don't know if that's too simple, but I think most people act out of the idea that they're kind of good, and if judged by the end, they would kind of be understood why they did what they did.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that?
So I had a question that is kind of related. Have you seen the movie Bitter Moon?
No, I haven't.
No, it's a
No.
Polanski movie, and it's sort of about love, and your movie kind of reminded me of it. I mean, in Disney and stuff, you kind of they showed love as you know as something good, you know, like very. I mean, you gotta be in love. You gotta this. You gotta that. And here in this movie, like in Bitter Moon, you kind of give a different perspective about it, because it's love is a bad thing. I mean, she loves Ben, but it's not a sort of a good love. It let her, you know, to a better life. I mean, if I love someone like a girl, so I would feel good, because I'm in a relationship. But she, I mean, she's in love, but she's in some shitty relationship, and he takes advantage of this love. So
It's sad, isn't it?
yes. So did you kind of mean it? Did you try to show love as something that is not always very positive, like we always see it?
Yeah, I think so. Thank you for that, because I think when, especially about Disney, even in the colors, Eric, like I always looked at her like Ariel, like a lot like Ariel in The Little Mermaid, and it's kind of, the idea was to start it a bit like a Disney story where she's like, I want to be where the people are. You know, she's like, she wants to get out. She wants to kind of, you know, she wants to get out there. And I colored her kind of like Ariel, like in the pinks and the purples and the blues and kind of stuff. And then she meets this Prince Charming, right? And like this beautiful blue eye or green eyes. And he's this English guy, you know, and he comes and he's suave. And then, yeah, I think it's really sad that love can be used as such a weapon. Like it's such a weapon. I don't remember, someone said this, I don't remember who, but it's like the worst thing you can do in life is to open a woman's love and to abuse it. It's like the biggest crime that you can do. And yeah, I think love is a weapon, love is a business, you know, and eventually she learns that. I think you know, she learns that at the end. She we had this scene that was cut at the end. When he slams her in and says "you're a whore" and stuff like that, it's a quick cut. That was a whole scene. It's a whole scene where she says like, "I know you love me. You know, I know you love me. You love me. You're not going to hurt me." It didn't quite come out. It didn't quite work. Like as a you know, as you guys know, it doesn't always come out the way you expect it. So, but it was there in her mind, like, I know that the only way I'm going to get out of this is if I use love as a weapon now as well, like to fight back. Yeah, it's sad that it's a weapon. It really is. Manipulation through love is the most powerful force in the world. It's just horrendous, but that's the truth. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
That's why to remind me of the movie, because there it's very much like a weapon.
What's it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have a follow-up
Yeah,
question because I remember something in the film,
Mhm.
and it dawned on me. So Ariella has a loss in her life. We
Yeah.
learn every year the father figure, and throughout the film we see the flashbacks.
Mhm.
Do you think she was my feeling is like she was searching for that love, that her father, she lost her father, and that masculine figure,
Yeah.
and then she found it,
Yeah.
and then to be dashed in a way where she was manipulated and abused,
Mhm.
broke her down to the point where she was still holding on to it in some respect throughout the film until the very end. We know we learn later on why that happened. I don't want to give too much. Everything for you gives a lot away, but because it's
Mhm.
such a good film, people to watch it through the
Mhm.
film festival. So,
Thank-
but there's a point where that even that and I noticed how throughout this that's a theme. You're right throughout the film that
Yeah.
people use they, for example, I don't, but there's the part where she's manipulated again towards the end,
Yeah. Yeah.
and she thinks that oh, finally, but she is done again, and like throughout the film, there's manipulations and
Mhm.
betrayals to her, and she's like we see her as the kind of interesting. You see the Disney thing that you want to make her because she's naive in a way,
Mhm.
in the very beginning, and she quickly learns that her naivety is broken down throughout the process to where she has to become a different person.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, so
Yeah.
my question is, if that what you were like, is
Right.
that part going on when you were writing it and filming
Yeah,
it?
definitely. That was like so prominent in my mind. I'm so glad that you said it, and I'm so glad I kept it in because one person who at some stage said, "Get you take out the bit, take out the backstory with her father," and I'm like, oh, okay. I was quite meek. I was a bit like Ariella, and then I became Israeli, but no, until then. But no, that's not it. No, it was definitely really important to me. That's why it did kind of come back because I do listen to people, everyone does, and then it kind of creeps back in. Hold on, that is really, really the most important part of her entire character because she had this terrible loss for her father, and it's all about that. It's all centered around that. And from my research, that's really common, and they find that out about that they target people like that. It's this idea there were loss and blame. I don't know if this was too subtle. Maybe I learned this. Maybe there was a way to do it clearer, but for me it was she blames herself for her father's death. Like she was there at the playground, she kind of pulling him, saying no, I want to stay, and that's actually the moment where she gets shot. And I think that psychologically it's given her a condition that she blames herself for everything, and that is the most important thing. And he does something very subtle in the cafe when he goes to the desk. He drops his credit card on purpose, and she says sorry. She's the one that says sorry for that, and that's when he knows. That's when he knows that she's the one that he can do it to, because it's a character type. I've seen it in people. Maybe I had it or I have it to a certain extent. I think a lot of people do. When someone blames them for something, they internalize it and think it's their fault. And you see this tragically, not just in trafficking, but you see it in domestic abuse. Very, very common in domestic abuse,
Yes.
where
Yeah.
people will get terrible situations, both men and women, but obviously, very sadly, mostly women will get abused physically by their husband, and they said, "Yeah, but I did burn the toast,"
Yeah.
and it's terrible. It's a human condition. It's maybe Stockholm syndrome, in that great loss causing this chasm inside of her, needing something, and then it's just needing and blaming, thinking that this relationship is going to fix my problem. Like this, it's what it's brought my dad back to me, and then when Ben needs her to sleep with someone and he's blaming her, he's saying basically, I need you to do this. She feels like this is my opportunity to kind of fix that pain in her. And that's how I always saw her emotional arc, to then realizing it wasn't really my fault. These things aren't my fault. And like, I have to kind of change from this. I have to stop blaming. I have to kind of fight. That was, from my opinion, and what we worked on with the actress a lot. It was amazing improvisation as well. Nadia, who's actually from Newcastle in England, so I feel like she's did a very good job at being from Brazil. But she related a lot to that character as well, and we talked a lot about things that she feels like she's to blame for. And actually, what was difficult about Nadia, which is what I loved about her, she was more strong and she was quite fiery personality. So we had to work really hard on her, with her, to show her why she's different and how, like, if she grew up in a different way, she would react to that. So yeah, the loss of a parent or the loss of someone close to you was just the foundation of everything. And also Ben as well, like, though some people have asked me, did that really happen? Yes, like Ben lost his father as well, you know, and he kind of has a pain and a hole in his life that he's replacing with his uncle as well. So I kind of felt like, that was a theme that was recurring for both of them as well.
All right, good. I wanted to ask also is I mean, kind of a different question is I mean, we all know how hard it is to make a movie, and you made a feature, which is even harder. So I mean, how did you get the funding? I mean, give the people who are watching some tips and stuff.
Some hope.
Yes.
I mean, I think you've got to decide. There comes a point in time when you want to. I think the short film was good. It was a learning curve. I never wanted to do another short film again. I just didn't want to. I didn't.
Yes,
there is a route, I think, where you can do short films and you know eventually make a feature. But I'd done so many hours as a director by that stage. I was like, I don't care to do another short film. I want to make a feature film. So I think the first thing to do is you have to really like. And by the way, I had help to say, you've got to do it now. Now is the time. Every step of the way, maybe not this year, maybe. And, I had a help to push me through that. But I think there's a mentality. You have to say, whatever happens, I am going to find a way to kind of make this movie. And when the first thing that happened in my mind was, okay, I'm going to make this. I'm going to make it myself. I don't care. I'm going to make it. So I rewrote. The first thing to do is to write a script that you can just so contained, like as contained as possible. Yes. Ariella doesn't feel that contained, I think, because we had a lot of locations. But for example, the brothel, Uncle Max's house, just the brothel and Uncle Max's house, which is a lot, were my grandfather's house, and we just kind of changed things around. Nice. The corridor, my grandfather's house. The only location we really had to pay properly for was the brothel, which was just someone's apartment that I knew, and we gave him a couple of £100 for that. So I think the most important thing was breaking down, getting the script to a place where you are not having to pay for locations unless it's like desperate. Like you want to imagine you have zero for a location budget would be my it's like you might have to pay zero, and that has to come from the writing. That has to come from the writing. You have to say to yourself, I'm going to write a film that's set in these, and what have I got really? Like who have I got? That's really important. And I shot it so fucking quickly. I shot it 12 days.
12 days? Wow.
Continuous 12 days?
Yeah, 12 full days, and then one pickup day. And I just get used to shooting like a nutter. Like, you have to just shoot like a nutter, and you have to just get through the days, and you have to have a crew that you've got to be honest with them and say, like, this is what it's going to be like this is, it's going to be shit, it's not going to be like, and I was very upfront, and I paid for the crew that I needed, and anything else that I could do, I had to do, like, even from parking the van in like central London, like I had to park the van and like go back in, and it was actually the scene I was in as the policeman, so I had to was in my costume and run back in. So I think you have to really separate what can you do before we even talk about budgets and money raising money. What can you do? Like, actually, really, really, what can you do? What can people help you with for a film, like this? Costumes as well. Like, how can I limit costume changes? Like, can I give people coats? Coats are great. Like, not shouldn't be changed. And then I got down to a budget where I was like, I created 3 budgets, basically. I could talk to this for hours. I learned a piece of software called Airtable. I don't know if you've heard of Airtable. It's like Microsoft Excel, but it's a database. And I learned it at Amazon. I had a guy called AJ Russell, shout out at Amazon, who really sold me this Airtable thing. And what it is it's like, you know, like Monday.com or whatever it's called, Salesforce. It's one that's for free that anyone can use, and you create databases that all link together. So wrote the script, you copy the breakdown of the script into these columns, and you write everything like the actors and everything you need into these columns. And then you're able there to break down how much days you need from them, etc. And once that was done, I said, okay, I've got 3 budgets, like my bottom line budget that I can go for. And I need to make sure that that my bottom line, I can actually go for my bottom line, like whatever that is. And that's like, I'm going to film it. We're going to have sandwiches, which is what we did. Like, we're going to and how can I make all the actors come in one go? Like, I knew I needed to pay the top 4 actors. Like, I did also audition non-paid actors, but they weren't up to that level. Ultimately, they weren't. So I said, okay, I know I can get a really good actor for like this much money. I'll just tell you, it's like, well, I don't know if I can actually for contractual reasons. I don't know if I should say how much they earn, but for a really good like fee. But how can I contain them? Okay, well, I can do like we did Uncle Maxi in 2 days. Uncle Maxi came for 2 days. That's it, and he's in like he's in like 25 minutes or something. Same with little Ronnie. So yeah, just working out on like how can I keep my actors do everything with this actor in one day, and it's just like a wicked puzzle, you know, like you've got to kind of just do this puzzle, get it down as much as you can, and plan your shots and shoot it docu style and like just get stuck in there. Fundraising wise, I managed to raise a lot of the money myself. Like, I took a really bold move. Like, I was working again. I got lucky. Like, I was nowhere. I was living with my parents till I was 29 years old. Like, I'm only 34 years old, so like I was basically living with my parents the whole time. I couldn't get a break, nothing. I got very lucky. Someone who was helping with Ariella recommended me for a job in post-production, and I took it, and I worked very, very, very hard in a very low level job to begin with. Like, I spent the first time building desks and getting sweets and getting food for everybody, and then gave me a ground in the film industry, which led me to a position where I was able to save like some money, which I was able to do. And then credit cards and friends and family helped out. My dad helped me out. My friends helped me out. My partner helped me out. I just was very, very lucky with that. I don't know. I had the Kickstarter ready. Let's put it that way. Okay, I had it ready. I believe sometimes you've got to show the universe or God or Hashem or whatever you want to say. You've got to show them you're willing to do it. You're willing to go to people and beg them and beg, borrow, and steal. So yeah, I better not say the budget again for like we're still talking to distributors and things like that. It was it was very reasonable. It was micro budget filmmaking, and yeah, it was very. When I had all the equipment, that was with me. So that was another bonus from the loan. I had the cameras and the lights and everything. Another thing you can do, I hope Amazon don't get angry at me. You can buy costumes on Amazon and send them back. Like, you can buy. I have a spreadsheet of things we returned. You know, it's thousands. Nice. Yeah, there's lots of
the same.
Yeah, man. Like, yeah, exactly. Charity shops, like, just go through wardrobes, and I think the clearness of like having like an idea about color and about style is really important, because if you know the colors, you can say to people like, you need to wear this color, and you can just dig through. And I got very, very lucky. The only head of department I worked with was a costume person, because I couldn't do it. I was getting to the point like and she was brilliant. She's called Sonia Nava. She's fucking brilliant. She's from America Mexico originally. She's living in America, and she was top class, man. She knew everyone. She could go into like stores and say, "Can I borrow this? Can I, leave the tag on," and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I got lucky, but I put myself out there. I put adverts out there, had a trailer. Just don't take no for an answer, and just be willing to do it. Be willing to do it for nothing. Like they say, the most powerful negotiation is a negotiation you can walk away from. And if you're going to say to yourself, "I'm going to do it for nothing," you've got a lot of power there. So like, yeah, teach yourself how to use a camera. It's not that complicated, honestly. Like it's not that complicated. It's not like what happens in front of the camera is what's important, much more important than what happens behind the camera. Like, honestly, and there are some unbelievable cameras now that you can use. Like, you could pick up my camera for like £900 now. Obviously, people were watching this £900, like fucking loads of money. But like, in the grand scheme of things. It's not, and you can rent them for a very cheap amount, like $30 a day or $40 a day. You can rent these cameras out, and you know, it's great. And yeah, I've got lucky like with my crew, but I picked like stringently, and I learned the lessons over the years. Like another thing, I didn't have an AD. I didn't have an AD. Like I had a production coordinator who filled in a lot of roles, ended up being an assistant producer, but I didn't have the referee saying, you got to move on here, you got to do this, you got to do that. You know, I was kind of had my crew by their balls, you know, kind of thing. I hope they don't mind me saying that. but yeah, just honestly, like, just I spent fucking 10 years thinking, should I do this? Should I raise this money? Should I not? And then, you know, I was also lucky to have a very good mentor, a friend, a guy called Vaughan Stein, who's a very, very, very good director himself, who's directed some really cool films. He was like, Michael, I never want to hear about Ariella ever again. He was like, please, like, honestly, like, stop it. So he really pushed me and was like, just come on, you've got to make a film, because your first film, I don't know, it's something, you hold on to it, but you guys both know, I've seen, you know, you hold on to it as if you're going to be this perfect, and I think sometimes you've got to just kind of do it, get it done. There's a workout guy in England called Bradley, and he says, get it done. So I will quote him. But yeah, again, friends, basically to answer your question, small budget, small contained, friends, family, debt, and saving up my own money, and that's how I.
I mean,
it definitely showed on the film, the characters, the caliber of actors you had, especially the supporting. Especially Ronnie and Uncle Maxie.
Right.
Yeah, the supporting helped it. You know, I think that's importance of film. Like, you can have really good actors, but the people around them need to support them as well in a way where where you like you'll be interested by everything. You know, a lot of times in small films, the other people, the supporting, not necessarily, it's not, you know, not to the fault, but they're not the caliber that the film needs. But in this regards, I was, you know, everything was well done. I feel like the way you cast it was pretty much perfect in this film.
I had to have a shout. I had some help. Oh, sorry, Amir. Do you want to go? Do you want to jump in?
That's why I thought you had a very big budget. I mean, not.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. I did, but that's the best thing you can hear, because I didn't. But I learned with that camera. Where the fuck can you point the camera? You know, like, you can't. There's no point. You can't drive a Renault Clio at a racetrack, right? But you can fucking take a Renault Clio to the supermarket. You can do whatever. Do you know what I mean? Use the shit you've got, right? Don't shoot outside your means. The camera's not good in low light, don't do anything in low light. Just fucking sit near a lamp. Like, I've got a lamp, you know, it's not that like I don't know if you guys play golf. There's a center of the golf club, and they say, let the golf club do the work. Like, you got to just hit the ball in there. I think cameras are like that. You've got to, and actors are a bit like that as well. Like, going back to your point, Eric, I had a bit of help with the side characters. I was very, very, very lucky. I saw there's this amazing advert in Israel for Beyond Meat. You know, the Beyond Meat ad. It's like Beyond Meat is like, I think it's vegan meat kind of thing. And there's this hilarious little guy in glasses, and anyway, I don't know if that's who plays Ronnie. That's who plays Ronnie. And I managed to somehow, Uncle Maxie is the same agent as Ronnie, okay? And I said, you know, this guy Robert, he brought me in Ronnie and said he's going to help. He wants to do it. You know, he's going to help. And this guy Robert Fusillo ended up as a co-producer. He said, listen, I'll help you out. And he got me all these amazing, like, subsidiary, like, side actors. And it was amazing, because I had one thing, I think, as a kid when I did musical theatre, the director said, you're only as strong as your weakest member of the cast. That like, and I think that kind of stuck with me. But yeah, actors are, any advice I can give, actors are the most important thing in the world. That's what it is. Put it this way, you can get the best camera in the world and shoot it at bad actors, and the film is shit. You can get the worst camera in the world and point it at the best actors in the world, and it'll be the best movie ever made. All right. Yes, yeah. So secondary, like to the camera is so. By the way, it's not important, because also where you put the camera and is so fucking important for how it feels. It's almost like where you put a microphone, how close you go. Like, it is so important to how the emotion is being read. Like, that is so important as well. Like, I can't actually stress that enough. But even so, you have to move around your actors. I think it's still the most important thing. Like, you are connecting as a human being to a human being. I think Stanley Kubrick said that he thinks film is just an excuse to have personalities shine. Like that's what he kind of sees film as. It's like just like personalities on camera coming through. So thank you for. I think the acting always is the most important thing for me. I think also coming through and wanting to be an actor, and also then filming myself as well. If you want to. A bit of tip: point the fucking camera at yourself and see how hard it is. Right, literally, anything's easy until there's a camera in front of you. So I think again, when I go around the apartment filming myself, I would learn. Okay, acting's actually like very, 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 very difficult. Like I had a camera guy once say, "Oh, it's acting like all you've got to do is speak. Like you should. What they say? You should know how to come to your mark, and in the same way that a follow focus should be able to follow a focus camera." I'm like, it's not quite the same. Like it's definitely not quite the same. Not disrespecting crew, not disrespecting anything, but there's autofocus, but you can't auto an actor. Like, let's just put it that way. Again, I'm so sorry, focus pullers, because I love you. And having things out of focus is the worst thing ever. All right. But there's a contradiction. And I fucked up once. And in the end, visual effects saved me because I pissed about. Basically, I took too long on the lighting on the bit where Ben is on the chair and he's getting very emotional. And he got into the zone. Oliver, the actor, who was just unbelievable. Like, I can't tell you how unbelievable fella this guy is, and never mind as an actor, just as a man, like his commitment to the role and his philosophy he's able to bring is amazing. But I took ages and the emotion came up and it was hard for him to get it back after that. And I left it too long because I said, go get ready, put your headphones in, and then I need to get the light ready. So I learned that again. Literally, you've got to just get the light ready first, get the light ready, get the frame ready first, and then tell the actor to kind of get into the mood. But we filmed it, had a lighting shot, and thank you, visual effects. We could take the light off. We managed to get someone to take the light off of there.
Nice.
So acting. Thank you. The characters, I thought they got their characterization so much, and it's all in the casting. I think like you've got to really feel comfortable in the casting. Like that would be the only thing I would delay something for. Like I just feel like it's and I think you have to test them out. I think and. Again, this is just my advice. I improvise in auditions like a lot. Like I do the script, and then the rest of the audition is improvisation. And you can really tell if the actor or actress understand the role by improvising, because you can just they'll give you things about themselves. So yeah, and I think about probably 30% of Ariella was improvised as well, probably at the end. So just let the actors let the actors do their own thing. Let them really say. It doesn't matter always the words they're saying, but some actors don't want to do that as well. Some actors like Shakespeare, they like the book and they do that. And so, but I always think I love improvisation. In my next film, I really feel like it's really important. Like I and also as a director, and when you edit it, it gives it a freshness to it when you're editing as well, because you haven't seen it before. And you've written it for 10 minutes, you've read it, and someone's saying fresh words. It's a bit more interesting. I think you've got to allow space for it to grow. Like a film is like a living organism. It kind of grows, and your job is to capture it, not necessarily to kind of not tell them what to do. So
I mean, when I give the script to some actor, I kind of feel that it's like that's it. I mean, he's the he now kind of has the character. He can do sort of whatever he wants with it. It's kind of, I mean, he knows better than me what's the character would do, and what not. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I definitely I completely agree with you. And going back to what you said about my lessons from the short film, when I wasn't on the camera, I over directed the actors because I was there and there, and actually being on the camera and just being like, okay, focusing on the camera, I didn't allow that gap between the actors, and I thought that was really interesting because I had I'm sure you can tell I've been a bit like a control freak, and and I didn't have a choice. I'd have to watch them. I'm literally watching when you're on the camera. A lot of it's like I'm keeping a frame, and I could see what was happening, but it wasn't my main focus. My main focus a lot was like keeping a frame, or I'm looking through the screen, or I'm, you know, and my operators operated a lot, by the way. I don't want to not give them a lot of credit. Like they did a lot of the operating.
Yes.
But even then, my mind was a bit on the camera because I, you know, that was my responsibility. So I completely agree with you, and I think I got lucky, and you know, taking it into the next project. You know, I'm always wondering if I would kind of like do that, and you know, it kind of allows you to see them, and also like working with individual actors individually is so important. I think it's important in management anyway, but with actors particularly, different things work differently with different actors. Like Oliver, who played Ben, he's like very on the book. Like he comes into rehearsal, like script notes, he's just amazing. Like he like breaks it down, and he loves talking, you know, a lot about the character, about that, and really building his own kind of like opinion of what's happening in their mind in each moment. Whereas Nadia, who played Ariella, she likes to connect it to her own life. It's like connecting to her own life. What is guilt? You know, what is guilt? Like what makes her feel guilty? You know, how that was completely different approach to that. And then you had other actors as well, like Nina, who played Deborah, who I think like smashes it in the second half of the film. She was very by the book as well. She didn't improvise that much. She didn't need to. She was, you know, a bit more classical in that respect. So yeah, I think it's really important to get to know them beforehand, like as people, if they'll open up to you, you know, and you can get to know them as people and what triggers them. And yeah, I would whisper in their ear stuff, you know, like that they told me. Like Nadia was very, very, very kind in opening up to me, so I could say like, remember that time that you did that, and then she's in the mode, she's in the zone, you know. So yeah, they're all different and all amazing, and it's great to get to know them individually as people before you start kind of working with them. I think.
Yeah.
Speaking on that, you know, do you have anything set up coming up? Any future ideas?
Yeah,
or promos?
Yeah, thank you. I'm working on a new project that's really like I've been working on it for like 5 years now, 6 years researching it. It's a really important, very, very project that's close to my heart, to do with anti-Semitism and to do with medieval Jewry, and to do with kings and queens and crowns. It's called the crown, the cross, and the coin. And the coin represents the Jewish character, and it goes into the medieval world about who was in control, and it talks about a period in English history that has very much been forgotten and erased, terrible atrocities, but also a story of great resilience to do with the community, and amazing characters who were real, that I've kind of like dug up from the grave. There's tax records, and you know, the rolls of things that the king used to read out, it's all kind of being preserved. And some of these characters were mentioned in the Talmud, in the rabbinical scholarship. So that's I'm just finalizing that draft now. I wanted it to be a movie, but I think it's too big. I was squeezing it in, and it's kind of becoming a TV series, or I think. Yeah, the script is almost done. I'm literally just powering on, trying to finish. I've never done that much. You know, it's like 300 pages kind of thing. So that's a bit of a different thing. But what I liked about Ariella, I thought the threads of the character could have been, there's so much more there. So I think this time I'm just trying to kind of let it go, see how big it is. And then really kind of just try to take it to the world, because, you know, I feel so strongly about anti-Semitism and hatred and just like misinformation, but power as well. Like who is really in power, which I think as a theme I kind of touched upon with Ariella, like power, who's really in control is something.
Yes.
So yeah, that's a really emotional kind of roller coaster I'm going on now. But hopefully that will be finished writing in the next few weeks, and I can kind of try to go to however that's going to be done. I wonder what my bottom line will be for that, but I don't think it will be quite as little as Ariella.
So is that project you are considering directing the whole thing?
Yeah, I would really like to. Yeah, I'd like to direct the whole thing. I would like to kind of act as the director and, if necessary, showrunner, but I would like to direct it all. I see it as one big thing. It's just kind of working in episodes and the format changing. So I would like to kind of, I guess, act as like a director more than a showrunner. But, you know, I think, you know, I would like to direct it all. I think I would need to direct it all. I can't imagine anyone would have anywhere near the amount of kind of understanding of that kind of era that I've kind of like lived and breathed for the last kind of 5 years. So I would like to. That's my bottom line. So we'll see where that goes on that. I also do the music as well. So like I did the music for Ariella as well. Like so it kind of comes out music as well. So there's a lot of music that's being kind of done to help like the to help the themes and the stuff come through. So yeah, I hope I can kind of like it's kind of both for me, you know, music and film kind of ties in together. So yeah, that's just, you know, almost locking the first bit, and then we'll see what happens, you know. But I won't give up. I'll get it made somehow. So hopefully we can have another one of these in a few years. We'll absolutely love it. Yeah,
looking forward to that.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, I think that's all we have for today. I really appreciate it. I mean, we got into a lot today. You know, we really appreciate, you know, your advice and your insight to a lot of the things in your film. Thank you for submitting it to our film festival.
Thank you. Any final words?
It was a real honor for me. You know, this is my first feature film, and to come into your festival and to win it and to have this conversation, it's very emotional for me. You know, like I hope I haven't talked too much and bitten your ear off too much. But yeah, like I'm really like just excited to be here and be part of your amazing festival. Like I just think it's really cool what you're doing and like bringing people together. And yeah, my final, just go for it. Honestly, just go for it. Like, just go for it. It's just a film. You know, like you got film. This is a film camera. It's so much. It is the most rewarding feeling by far I've ever experienced to have this done and to have this finished. And you know, hopefully it can do something important and kind of bring these ideas of trust and love and stuff to light like a film can't do. But yeah, man, like let's just make more movies. We're in the golden age of that. Like we can break the system, you know. If it's like the 70s again, if we, the independent sector, make more movies and better movies, then all these big boys will come to us and they'll want our stuff. So we all have to do it together. We're all a team. We're trying to get unique, proper voices and proper stories out, right? So please, guys, just join me and let's tear down the wall, as Pink Floyd would say.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Yeah, so that's my final words. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure. It's been amazing. I really appreciate you listening to me and asking such insightful questions, and it means a lot to me. So thank you very, very, very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So to finish off, this has been our first interview for the filmmaker for the Shoham 2024 Film Festival, best feature. And we want to thank again Micheal Garsin for his time, his first film. And that's it. So for Eric Ramos and
Amir Rajburger,
we're signing off, and thank you. And hopefully, and everybody watch the film festival and watch his film Ariella and all the other films that have been selected for the final selection.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Shalom, bye bye. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.